Hey everyone, this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization, working with psychedelics to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. Integration is a big part of this work. Of living an authentic and fulfilling life. Living a life aligned with our true self. Aligned with a life that we truly want to live. That's where this sense of satisfaction and fulfillment is coming from. At least it's a big part. More fundamentally, we're gonna not talk about this. But the difficulty of integration, this is the topic for this video. Because it's difficult to integrate. You as a psychonaut, you might have noticed that you've had these expansions, the wow moments, the mind-blowing insights of like, I could not believe I didn't see this. I need to integrate this. Of like, and in the experience itself, it sometimes feels like there's no possibility I'm not gonna integrate this knowledge, this insight, this wisdom, this experience that I'm having right now. And we come back. And we come back into our normal state consciousness, and sometimes our life doesn't seem to change. It's difficult to integrate. Old patterns emerge. We're just continuing to live our life. Because sometimes there's also so much to integrate. It's such a big expansion. By the way, I love to help psychonauts discover and actualize their life purpose, though they can create a life of their choosing. And that is basically the psychedelic integration work. If you're curious about working with me one-on-one, there's a link in the video description and we can have a chat about that. But even for myself, and I'm gonna share my solution to this towards the end of the video. But even for myself, I notice like sometimes, wow, so many insights. I write pages upon pages upon pages of insights and notes from some psychedelic experiences. And then I look and reflect on them a couple days and weeks later, I'm like, I wasn't able to integrate it. I wasn't able to integrate it. And it's not just with psychedelic experiences. That's where it's kind of obvious. But this pattern of the difficulty of integration I found is present in a lot of things. Because it's about the insight, it's about the knowledge. So the same, it doesn't count only for psychedelic experiences, it counts for books. Books you're reading, not doing anything with it. With the knowledge, with the insights, with the mind-blowing ideas that are in the books. Same with movies. You're watching an inspiring movie, you're like, I want to be like that character. I want to embody this a little bit more. Whew. Floats by, you forget about it. Difficult to integrate. Same with presentations, talks, YouTube videos like that one. People giving advice, you're like, yes, thank you, I'm gonna integrate this. And then you're not. And then the recognition of the difficulty of integration can be a little bit hard sometimes. There's a tendency, at least in my present experience, to judge myself of like, oh man, why am I not able to integrate this? This would be such a life-changing thing to integrate. Right? This morning routine, this whatever, way of being with my family, whatever it is for you personally. And then there's this self-criticism kind of flowing into your experience. And you're like, oh. But I feel like this cannot be the way. This cannot be a way to handle the difficulty of integration. It's good to acknowledge and appreciate the difficulty of integration. That's how I go about it. And then to be kind to myself as the process of integration goes. It's part of the integration. To be kind to myself and to acknowledge and appreciate that I cannot integrate it all. Not all at once. And my inability to embody this highest version of myself right now, to the extent that I have experienced it in psychedelic journeys, to hold myself in that, to appreciate that, to acknowledge that is okay, that is perfect exactly as it is. That is perfect exactly as it is. That's kind of the fundamental shift that I made through my psychedelic integration. And it sucks sometimes, this is not being able to integrate all of it. But then I followed down, I've heard it from Leo Gura, I guess, once, where he's like, if you have this expansion in the psychedelic experience of like 1,000,000,000% of alien civilizations and DMT entities teaching you how to make sound or whatever it is, like all kinds of crazy things, or ayahuasca saying do this and that with your life and that is your truest, highest resonance and whatever it is. If you have this huge, enormous expansion, to even be able to integrate 1% or less than 1%, 0.001% of that expansion, if you're able to integrate that, then you've made huge progress, enormous progress. And I found that quite a beautiful sentence, quite a beautiful phrase to look at it. Of like, even if I'm able to integrate 1% of what I've experienced in my psychedelic journey recently, my life could change gradually over experience after experience, kind of putting it all together and walking the path, not being shy of the work on the day-to-day. Really trying, but also not beating yourself up. And this is the key thing that I want to share for this video. There's much more to say and there's much more in my psychedelic integration practice, but what I want to leave you with in this video is kind of a very practical step. It's simple, but it's very practical. And it's that from a psychedelic experience, if it's like so much, but you're gonna retain something if you haven't lost your mind completely. Well, even if you did, you're gonna have some insight, right? And maybe formulate an action step, one small action step that you can do today around this insight. It just has to be one insight, one lesson from the whole experience. Forget all the other million ones that you've had experienced, and then forget the overwhelm. But take the one that feels most resonant for you at this moment, that feels most aligned, that feels most important to you in this phase of your life. And around this insight, formulate one small, tiny action step. An action that you can do today. And that action doesn't have to be a physical, tangible action. It can be an intangible action, right? So for example, a tangible action is like, okay, I know I do not want to eat that much sugar anymore. So today I'm gonna eat, not formulated in a not sense, but I'm gonna eat an apple instead of the chocolate. This is a silly example, right? And the intangible action could be something like, okay, I experienced this God consciousness, or I experienced the beauty of life in this experience. I want to take a moment in my day, 2 minutes, to practice active appreciation. That is kind of an action in your perception, right? Whatever that is for you, I trust that you have the wisdom to formulate one single small action step that is doable for you from one small or big insight from one psychedelic experience. And that's how I deal with the challenge of the integration, right? This big part of acknowledging and appreciating the reality of the difficulty of integration, still doing it, enjoying the journey, forgiving myself for not being able to integrate it all, and then still taking one small action step at a time. And if I reflect on it, my life is not the same, right? From all the experiences from back then to now, it has transformed me. There's a video on my channel where you can watch in what ways psychedelics have truly changed my life. You can watch it right here. That's about it. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, if you feel the resonance to work with me on your psychedelic integration to live the best life possible, to live and design a life that you truly align with, then give me a call and we can have a chat about working together. Thank you very much. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.